Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lynn. If not, welcome back. For today's video, as voted by all of you, we're gonna be talking about my favorite, or rather my top recommendations when it comes to crusty, ancient looking Hoya. If you're interested in this, keep on watching. It comes as no surprise, and I feel like it's such a popular recommendation that all Hoya callistophyllas are considered ancient crusty Hoya. So I am actually, I made a conscious decision not to talk about too many different callistophyllas because there are so many different variants. But I will say, as a rule of thumb, all Hoya callistophyllas and their variants are all, to me, inside the ancient crusty Hoya category. And there are so many Hoya callistophylla variants now. I have the spider, there is the Hoya callistophylla bluestone. Go Google it, it's beautiful. The regular Hoya callistophylla is also a top fave for me, and I will be showing you one of my Hoya callistophylla variants in this video. But before we get into the video proper, I do have to talk about my growing conditions. So I don't own any growing cabinets or like humidity chambers or like grow tents or anything like that. All my Hoyas grow in ambient conditions, and my conditions are as follows. My temperatures are 65 degrees Fahrenheit to about 75 degrees Fahrenheit indoors, sometimes maybe up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit when I keep all the windows open in summer. My humidity is always above 40%. So throughout the year, I'm not running any humidifiers, but I do run humidifiers in winter to keep the humidity above 40% when the heaters come on. Light. So I want to say that most of my Hoyas are under a grow light, but I do have Hoyas in an east-facing window and also in west-facing windows. So my Hoyas that are in a west-facing window, they are placed slightly away from the window so they don't get direct sunlight. And for those that are sitting in direct sunlight in a west-facing window, they're seated in like a double-tinted, double-insulated behind like a glass that's like double insulated and tinted, so the light is dramatically reduced. So because of that, they can sit right in front of a west-facing window, but not all Hoyas can sit right in front of a west-facing window, so you do need to pick the right one. And I will be talking about where the specific Hoyas are located as I go through this list. But I think, looking at the table, I think all of them are under grow lights. And if you're interested to see what kind of grow lights I use, you can go check out my tutorial playlist. I have my Amazon tools there. I have my past like growing condition and like what my grow lights are like. All of those links are all in all of those tutorial videos. So go to my channel homepage and then go click the playlist, and then you can see all of my tutorial videos. All right, now that we have all of the introduction done, let's get into it. In no particular order, the first Hoya I want to talk about is the Hoya mitrata. I think the Hoya mitrata is such an underrated Hoya. I think it's so beautiful. Like, look at how crusty, ancient looking the leaves are. They are like wavy, they have like an irregular shape. The regular Hoya mitrata is really affordable right now, and it has like nice silver splashing. If you want a more, I guess, fancy version of the Hoya mitrata, you can go for the Hoya mitrata silver or Hoya mitrata. There are so many different Hoya mitrata silvers now, but those are going to be the fancier option. So what I grow my Hoya mitrata in is just pure cocoa chunks. So this is in a 100% cocoa chunk mix. Well, I shouldn't even call it a mix. It's just 100% cocoa chunks. It's growing under a grow light. It gets about medium light. I like to grow this in medium light because the leaves get really, really big. So the more light you give this plant, the smaller the leaves get. And I like this really crinkly, wavy leaf look. This Hoya also vines a lot. It tends to shoot out really long tendrils. So I find the circle trellis works really well with this Hoya because the stems are very, very flexible. So you can just let them keep going around and around and around a circle trellis, and then you eventually grow out like a really nice lush looking plant. So this is my first recommendation. The second Hoya on my list is my Hoya clemensiorum black splash. And again, I have a couple different Hoya clemensiorums, but I don't want this to become a Hoya clemensiorum video. But safe to say, all Hoya clemensiorums and their variants, just like all Hoya callistophyllas, belong in this crusty, ancient looking Hoya look. So this is my favorite Hoya clemensiorum in my collection. This is the Hoya clemensiorum black splash. It has black leaves. It's wavy on the sides. The leaves are humongous. It's the size of my hand. I mean, it's the length of my hand. It has splash. It has texture. It's fuzzy on the top and at the bottom. Very hard leaves. It's just a beautiful, beautiful Hoya clemensiorum. Look at this leaf. Wow. So very interestingly, this Hoya clemensiorum is grown in a mixture of moss and chunky perlite. It came to me as a 1-note 2-leaf cutting in moss and chunky perlite, and it did so well. I just continued the moss and chunky perlite when I upsized the pot. So it's just growing in moss and chunky perlite in like a little tall vessel, I guess, and it has a trellis. It really does need a trellis to open up those like leaves. If not, it will just keep throwing out really, really long tendrils. So this is another Hoya that you really need a trellis for. But yeah, a beautiful ancient crusty looking Hoya, and I have, I think, 2 or 3 more different clemensiorums, and I would put them all within the ancient crusty Hoya category. So any Hoya clemensiorum, immediately yes, an ancient crusty Hoya, but this is my favorite one. Beautiful. The next Hoya on my list might not come up as an ancient crusty Hoya for a lot of people, but I personally think this Hoya looks very ancient looking because, and this is the Hoya putra. So look at those like really dark, just like gothic looking leaves. It just screams old, antique looking to me. So it's not quite your standard like veiny, irregularly shaped, crusty looking type Hoya. But I do think, in my opinion, again, it's very subjective, I do think, in my opinion, that this is like an ancient looking Hoya. And I would highly, highly recommend the Hoya putra. It is not a fast grower at all, and it definitely needs a trellis, as you can see. It throws out really, really long tendrils, and the leaves are very, very heavy. I do have a nice, sneaky little peduncle here. It has never bloomed for me before, so I'm excited to see it bloom, hopefully. But beautiful Hoya. This one is grown in full cocoa chunks as well. All of these Hoyas that I've shown you so far are all grown under a grow light, so they're not in a window. But yeah, this is in full cocoa chunks. It loves it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful Hoya. Not a fast grower. I think in general, most ancient Hoyas, or rather ancient looking Hoyas in this category, are usually not super fast growers, but this is my next recommendation, and I do highly recommend it. The next Hoya I have on the list is a Hoya callistophylla. As I said, all Hoya callistophyllas belong in the ancient crusty category, and I have to show you at least one, right? So this is my Hoya callistophylla black cat. So the black cat is different from the Hoya callistophylla, like the regular Hoya callistophylla, because in this variant, can you see those bleeding veins? The veins are not quite so distinct, and they almost like bleed out into like this inky black color, and it bleeds into the surrounding leaf, and kind of looks like an ink blot, if you ask me. But all of the leaves are the same. They have this bleedy, inky look to them, and I think it kind of like emphasizes how ancient looking they are. This is a brand new leaf, and it's the same thing. It has like that inky bleeding vein look. Like this one, I think it's more obvious. One of my favorite things about the Hoya callistophylla black cat is just how unique looking every single leaf is. Like every single leaf that comes out, I know is gonna be slightly different, and I think that lends itself to intrigue and like excitement every time you see a new leaf. Just like all Hoya callistophylla variants, this does not grow super fast. It's not like super slow, but it's also not super fast. This one I have growing in full semi-hydro. It's just in a full cup of lacquer mixed with pond. It's very happy in this setup. It has bloomed for me multiple times, and personally I do think the Hoya callistophylla variants do need a trellis. The stems are kind of thin and the leaves are very chunky and heavy, so they do benefit from a trellis as well. But yeah, this is my next recommendation. This is the Hoya callistophylla black cat. Just so much fun. And that plant also grows under a grow light. The next Hoya I have on the list is the Hoya Sumatra wavy leaves. I think this is not like a super expensive Hoya, but this is definitely not like a common Hoya. I don't find this Hoya on Facebook Marketplace very frequently. I don't really see it on Palm Street very frequently. I also don't really see it on Etsy very frequently. And I've definitely never seen this in a nursery for sure. But this is another crusty looking Hoya for me. It has not obvious like it doesn't have like spider web. It doesn't have like obvious, I guess, distinct venation. The venation is kind of like blended into the leaf. But can you see the texture on this leaf? You can see that the veins kind of pop out, and it lends itself to like this really cool like matte 3D looking leaf that's like not exactly veiny but is also veiny. Yeah, just look at that. It's really fun. I do enjoy this Hoya a lot. So it does have wavy sides. The sides are thin, and then the middle of the leaf is very chunky. And I have this growing in full semi-hydro in a mixture of lacquer balls and small tiny clay balls. But yeah, this is also another Hoya that needs a trellis. So the leaves are very heavy, they're very chunky, and the stems are very thin. So this one also benefits from a trellis. The moment you trellis it, the leaves start to come out a lot faster. So this is my next recommendation. Also growing under a grow light, and yeah, conditions are exactly the same in ambient. So if you talk about Hoya callistophyllus, you talk about Hoya clemensiorums, there's no way you don't talk about Hoya finlaysonii. So Hoya finlaysonii and all of its variants, I think personally also belongs to the entire ancient crusty Hoya looking category. And this is my Hoya finlaysonii round leaf. So the Hoya finlaysonii round leaf also has very distinct venation, I guess. The leaves are rounder, as is in its name. I don't know what else I can say. This is just a beautiful ancient looking Hoya. The sides are wavy, they're kind of thin on the sides but thick in the middle. The leaves are like very veiny. Like, look at that. The veining pattern is different from a Hoya callistophylla as well, which I think is very cool. Mine has like some low splashing, which I think is fun, but as like on its own, it just is so crusty looking and so ancient looking and so prehistoric looking that I think this is a Hoya that you cannot pass up on. I grow mine under medium light, so the leaves are extra dark and gothic looking, which is my preference. But if you want a higher contrast leaf, look at this one. This was grown under really bright light. I just didn't really like this leaf, so I reduced the light, and now I get these really dark gothic looking veins and leaf patterns. So it's really your choice. Same thing, the leaves are super thick, very heavy, very chunky, benefits from a trellis. The moment you trellis it, it just vines so much, and the moment you trellis it, it just immediately starts putting out leaves. Like over here, I have a really long trellis. This ought to be clipped to, and I have a really long vine, and this ought to be clipped to a trellis. But yeah, here's my next recommendation. Also grown under a grow light. The next Hoya on the list is a really fun one. This is the Meredithii Splash Indonesia. I got this on Palm Street, and look at this leaf. Wow. It's just such a beautiful Hoya. Like the leaves come out just like velvety, and the veins are dark. The splash sun stresses to pink, as you can see. It's just a beautiful ancient looking Hoya. And again, same spiel. It's very slow growing. It needs a trellis. If not, it's not gonna put out leaves. These are the original leaves. Same thing. They look very pillowy. They're like suede-like and just gorgeous. So pretty. A very slow growing Hoya, but the leaves are definitely very beautiful. This is growing under extremely bright grow lights. I think these are like the ones I recently got and featured on my channel. They are the Barina gooseneck ones that I recently featured on my channel. And you can find it on Amazon always, and they're usually, well, not usually, sometimes on like a time limited deal, so snag them during that time. I use these like sun stress, my Gunung Gading Girls and stuff like that. It works really well. But yeah, this is grown under extremely bright grow lights, and I think that's its preference. Otherwise, it slows to a crawl, and like you will not see leaves for like a long time. But under really bright grow lights, it starts turning out really beautiful leaves. So this is actually ancient crusty Hoya on this list that I would recommend putting under really bright lights. Alright, and for the next Hoya, if you've been on my channel for long enough, you will know that I love this Hoya variety. This is the Hoya Larissa, and I think it just screams ancient, crusty, veiny, splashy Hoya. Thank you so much for commenting on my YouTube community page and also on in my comment section telling me that you went out and you got yourself a Hoya Larissa because of my videos. It makes me so happy. Just one of my favorite Hoyas, and I cannot recommend it enough. This one I think doesn't need a trellis, but I like putting it on a trellis so I can save some space. But it does have pretty thick stems and doesn't really need a trellis. So if you want to let it trail, I think it will trail beautifully for you. Also, the leaves are very rounded and hard and like cup shaped, which I think is gonna look beautiful in like a trailing pot, I think. These leaves also do sun stress, so I have a little bit of a sun stress situation over here. So if you like sun stressing, this does sun stress beautifully. And what else can I say? It's just a beautiful, beautiful Hoya. This grows under really bright grow lights, but I purposely shade it with bigger Hoyas because I do want the leaves to come out bigger. So this one, unfortunately, got sun stress. I'm not like a huge sun stress person, but it does sun stress. And on some leaves, I think it's kind of cool. But I do prefer like these bigger leaves down the bottom that I used to grow when the light situation was lower. But this is in like a pretty bright shelf. On a pretty bright shelf, but like I shield it with other bigger Hoyas to kind of cut down the light that hits this plant. But yeah, beautiful Hoya, also in ambient conditions. This is growing in a full loose chunky soil mix in a clear pot, and very happy. The next Hoya I have on this list is the Hoya species Kalimantan. And wow, just wow. I featured this on my, I think, how light affects Hoya leaves video. But I mean, how can I not talk about this Hoya when I talk about ancient crusty Hoyas? This is like as crusty as it gets. The leaves are huge, like genuinely huge leaves. They're veiny, they're wavy, they come to a point. It's just so ancient looking and so prehistoric looking. I just love this Hoya so much. So this is also growing in loose chunky soil mix under a relatively bright shelf, but it's like in the back, so it gets a little less light. But yeah, look at this giant leaf that's growing the bottom of the plant. This one got extra big because of the really, really low light conditions. And if you're interested to find out more about how light affects Hoya leaves and my case examples, I will link that video down in the description box below. It is a really fun video. But yeah, this is my next recommendation. A really, really beautiful Hoya to collect if you love ancient crusty looking Hoya. Next Hoya I have on the list is the Hoya meredithii round leaf. So this is again another beautiful veiny crusty prehistoric looking Hoya. Very, very beautiful option. Again, very, very, very slow growing. Mine used to be in a semi-hydro pot. I just didn't think it enjoyed that setup at all. So I recently changed it over to a loose chunky soil mix, and I think it's a lot happier in this loose chunky soil mix. I'm still waiting for like this new stem in the back to produce some new leaves, but yeah, another beautiful, beautiful ancient crusty looking Hoya. This is growing under medium grow light, so not super duper bright. I bet it will grow so much faster if I gave it brighter light, but I just don't have space right now, and this is not my top fave. So I have other fave Hoyas that I want to save the bright lights for. So I'm just gonna accept that it's a slower grower, but it's just so beautiful, I don't mind. And again, as you can see, even under like kind of medium lights, it does sun stress a little bit. So if you enjoy a sun stressy Hoya, this could be your ancient crusty plus sun stressy Hoya. Meredithii round leaf. And for my last Hoya for today's video, it's the Hoya fulwensis, another extremely, extremely underrated Hoya. This Hoya screams ancient, crusty, cardboardy leaves, curled, they're like irregular shaped, and it has splash on it. It blooms so frequently. The flowers are fuzzy and pink. Go Google it, or maybe I'll slap a photo on the screen right now. But this is one of my favorite prehistoric looking Hoyas. It is so easygoing. It definitely needs a trellis. I think it looks best in like a bamboo trellis setup because it really blends in with the stem. And I don't know, it just adds to like that prehistoric vibe. But yeah, I think this Hoya is just so underrated. I don't hear people talking about the fulwensis enough. It's just so beautiful, so easygoing, very affordable as well. And you can find this at a lot of, maybe not your local nursery unless you're next to like a really specialized local nursery, but I think you can find this on plantproper.com Canopy Plant Co. based in New Orleans. You can also find this on their channel, on their Palm Street, or on their website, probably Steve's Leaves. So you can definitely buy this online at a specialty nursery for sure, for like maybe less than 50 bucks. But it is a beautiful Hoya. I cannot recommend it enough. It grows really well. It definitely needs a trellis. It blooms really fast, and mine is growing in just pure cocoa chunks, and it loves this substrate. This Hoya is not growing under a grow light. It's growing in a west-facing window. However, it's shielded by a lot of other Hoyas, and it's behind like a insulated double panel tinted glass window. So the light that actually gets to this plant, I would say, is like medium high, so not like actually like bright direct sunlight. But yeah, it really loves its spot in the west facing window behind double panel glass that is tinted and insulated, and it just seems to be doing really well in that setup. So I'm probably not gonna move this plant from its spot anytime soon. And that brings me to the end of my video. But before we leave, I'm gonna throw in one bonus Hoya. This is a Hoya Gunung Gading. It's a very popular Hoya for good reason. It has that ancient crusty looking veiny leaf pattern as well. And it also sun stresses to like a really bright red, which is what a lot of people enjoy about this species. I personally am very boring, and I kind of prefer seeing mostly green with like a little bit of red on my plant. I know some people enjoy like a fully sun-stressed plant. That's not quite my vibe, because I don't know why, like really red leaves makes me think of like dead leaves in fall. I know, it's like controversial, but the Gunung Gading is a cheaper alternative to the Gunung Gading Ghost, which also has like the same veination, but you're not gonna see the veins as well on a Gunung Gading Ghost just because there's a heavy silver pattern over the leaf. But yeah, this is another beautiful ancient crusty looking Hoya that I highly recommend. I grow mine under medium light on purpose so it doesn't get sun stressed, but it's growing in a full semi-hydro setup in just like a balls, and it's doing really well. It underwent quite a bit of abuse when I first moved to Michigan because it was in a really hot truck, and all of the leaves that touched the side of the truck just melted off basically. But it's finally bouncing back after winter, and I think, dare I say, it's looking really cute right now. And that officially brings me to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's little ancient crusty Hoya content. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, and then if you have any questions, comment down below. If you have other ancient crusty Hoya recommendations, also comment down below. If you just want to say hi, also comment down below. I love hearing what you guys I love hearing where you guys are coming from and where you're watching from, and also what languages you speak. There's Google Translate, so feel free to type in your home language. Yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe. That brings me to the end. Bye, and have a great day.